Hello again. For you, it might be next week. My last session finished about 12, 13 seconds ago. But yes, so here we are. I have just loaded up my previous project by obviously doing file and open and stuff like that. And here's my project. Here's my session, the last session's work. And we finished the session where we're saying add some drums. So we'll just have a little recap by playing and listening to our part so far. Cool. So we're going to add some drums to that. Okay. Now, I'd say at the moment it's maybe a little bit too short, but it's only an example. So you might choose to use 16 chords with an imperfect or interrupted cadence in the middle. But for this example, I'll just make it 8 chords long. And it'd be fine if you do 8 chords, but yeah, maybe you want it a little bit more than 15 seconds long. Maybe 16 chords would give you a good 30-second news theme. We don't want anything over 30 seconds, I don't think. So, drums. We've got a kind of like dance drum beat, and I'm actually going to show you how to, I'll show you 2 ways of doing a drum beat. The first way is by clicking a drum beat in. The second way is I'll play the drum beat in, depending on how your keyboard skills are. If you've got a keyboard skills target, you might want to try this with keyboards to try and work again on those targets. Okay? So, for the moment, first thing, let's draw in these drum beat in. So if we go and hold our right mouse button down and go into the pencil, which says draw, we're going to draw an empty bar, okay, an empty section. Then go back in here and we can double click on this. Now there's nothing in it at the moment, but we formed an 8-bar like sample, okay. There's 8 bars which we can put drum beats into. If I click on this, this is the 8 bars we've got just here. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom into this area, the first bar of this. So one way of doing this is by using the zoom control, but also if you put your mouse button on these notes above, hold the left mouse button down and drag downwards, then you can scroll and zoom. Okay, so I've zoomed into that area there. Now I'm going to zoom slightly to make these notes a little bit bigger so you can see things. And we're going to go down here now. It's around C1 that we have our kind of kick and snare. Okay. Now for me, that drum beat is better than this one. That's a bit too much. So that one there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw and just click a note in, like so. So I'm going to have it clicking on every beat. Okay, like so. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll go. Okay, so I'm going to have a little double beat at the end of each 2 bars. So let's have a listen to that. Let's just solo it. Now I'm going to try and click in a snare. That's quite a cool sound. So it's going to go boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's have a listen to that. Quite like that. Now I'm going to have a hi-hat. And that's going to go on every one of those little beats. So a little tit. Here we go. Okay. Now you don't have to have that rhythm. That's just a rhythm I chose. Okay. Now you'll know at the moment the quantizer says 1/8, and therefore when I draw, it gives me those notes which are an 1/8 note long. Okay, now that means that they are an eighth of a bar, okay, or half a beat, for those of you who deal with beats. So half a beat. Now you can make those smaller. If I do that, you'll see that these little things, there's two boxes now, where there was only previously one. Normally you probably want to keep it to 1/8, but you can do quite a lot with this. Okay, if I like that, okay, say I like that, I don't want to have to click it in 8 times. So I might want to drag around it all, press the control button on my keyboard, and then hold it down and then click D. And it then copies and pastes right next door what you've just done. Okay, so if we have a listen to that. Okay, now I'm going to click on Control D, but at the end of this, I want it to do something different. Okay, so I'm just going to move things. So just move some things around. Ooh, they're interesting. So I think I might want to have some kind of cymbal-y thing going on as well. So obviously when you do these things, you kind of want to kind of listen to it and then think, you know, do I like this? Do I not like this? Okay, so let's have a listen. Quite like that. Again, it's a little bit different at the end there. Just extend that so that last crashy cymbal sounds. Have a listen. Let's listen to that drum beat with our strings. Here we go. Yeah, quite like that. Not too bad at all. The strings are a little bit loud, actually, for me, especially these ones up here. So I can make them quieter. So if you go into here and see the volume control, I'm just going to drag that down a little bit. Okay, maybe to -3 point. Yeah, -3. Make these -2, maybe, just so the drums cut through a little bit more. They're a little bit quiet. And hopefully, yeah, that's a bit better. So you've got control over the volume of all these different parts. I'm now going to try some synth stuff. Okay, so let's have a listen to that synth again. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm actually going to try this chord sequence up here. Okay, I'm actually going to try and just put it straight in there and see what it sounds like. Okay. So, if I click and drag around all that, and I press and hold down the Alt key, it's next to the space bar, you'll see that it changes what the mouse pointer looks like. If I click on that and drag them down, it copies. If I then let go of my mouse click, it just copies all of those things, and I can drag them and put it where I want to. Okay, let's just have a quick listen to that, see what those synths sound like. Okay, I'm not 100% sure about that titanium sound now. Now, I don't need to change anything, but it might be that I want to actually try some different synthesizer sounds that maybe sound a bit better, because that's a little bit, that's not quite right, I don't think. like that, actually. Let's try that with the rest of it. Let's have a listen. Yeah, I like that. Quite like that. What's that called? Tangerine Awakening. It's a weird name, but it works. Okay. Now, this might be, again, as far as you get in a lesson to that point. And in fact, I'll explain what that is in a second. So let's imagine that you've got that done in a lesson. Okay, so that's drums and just adding in your chords into your synth pad. So I'm going to press File, Save As, and imagine it's the next day. So for you, it'll be a different date, but you'll see each one of my individual projects there. And I'll press Save. I'm going to finish there. In the next session, we will be looking at how to add a melody to this. Excellent. See you soon.